Commissioners meeting. And we're blessed this morning to have Pastor Josh Roberts from the Maple Avenue United Methodist Church lead us on invocation, and investigator Sean Rook from the Cobb Sheriff Department to lead us in our pledge of allegiance. So those that are willing and able, please stand.
Commissioners, I bring you greetings on behalf of Maple Avenue United Methodist Church here in Marietta, and also bring a word of gratitude for what you all do in serving our community, that both to the commissioners and to our community servants. For those who feel led, would you join me in prayer this morning? Gracious God, we give you thanks for the new day and the many opportunities that it holds. Opportunities to enjoy your creation and opportunities to take the blessings and gifts we have and make our communities and the world a little better for all your people. We thank you for this county and the communities that we call home. We thank you for the leaders and the servants that you have blessed us with that help to make Cobb County the special place that it is. On such a cold and a rainy morning, we recognize that there are many around us today who are working in the cold to make sure that we have all the most basic of utilities and services that we so often take for granted. Lord, we thank you for their work. Bless them and all those who serve our county and its communities. For our teachers, to the leaders, public safety, to those in utilities, those in the courts, and men and women in offices this morning fielding questions and concerns that us citizens have. All of them doing their very best to help us have access to the things that make this place, Cobb County, so special. Bless them again in their work and help them to feel the gratitude that we all have. This morning, God, we pray for our leaders. Thank you for those gathered in this room, for their bold willingness to lead and serve our county. Give them wisdom and patience. Help them to know the right time and place for each proposal that they address and for each decision that they make. Help them to sense the needs of the people in our county, from the highest stations to those truly struggling. Help them to know the right decisions, the right direction to go. Lord, it is again a wonderful day, and we pause, if only for a moment, to say thank you for it, and to ask that you help us all, those here and those everywhere, to make the very most of it, that you, O God, might be pleased with what you hear us say and what you see us do. All in this we ask in the name of Christ. Amen.
Amen.
Would please join me for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Pastor and Sheriff. Deputy, appreciate you starting out this meeting this morning that way. Great words from the pastor, especially mindful of all those that are out there today in this cold weather taking care of us. Before we get started with today's presentations, I'd like to ask for a moment of silence for past and retired Superior Court Judge of Cobb County, Conley Ingram. He served this county and this state for many, many years, and we're going to miss him. So if you would just join me in a moment of silent meditation, I would appreciate it. May a flight of angels guide him to his rest. Amen. Okay, well, we have a number of presentations today, and today I'm the first on the list. I'd like to give me my honor to present a proclamation to the Military Order of Purple Heart recognizing Purple Heart Day. So those members of the Purple Heart group that are here today, if you please join me up front, I'd appreciate it. Good morning. Good morning, sir. These are all guys that didn't duck. Whereas the residents of Cobb County have great admiration and the utmost gratitude for all men and women who have selflessly served their county, country, and community in the armed forces, And whereas veterans have paid the high price by leaving their families and communities, placing themselves in harm's way for the good of all, the contributions and sacrifices of the men and women from Cobb County who serve in the armed forces have been vital in maintaining the freedom and the way of life enjoyed by our citizens. And whereas Cobb County is the home of Dobbins Joint Air Reserve Base and Lockheed Martin, a major defense contractor, the Marietta National Cemetery, the Confederate Cemetery, and Kennesaw Mountain National Battlefield Park. And whereas more than 30,000 men and women from Cobb County have served this nation in the armed forces during World War II, Korea, Vietnam, and 2 Gulf conflicts and others. Now we, therefore, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby recognize Purple Heart Day in Cobb County, honoring the service and sacrifice of those who earned the Purple Heart, who were wounded or killed by the enemy while serving to protect the freedoms enjoyed by all Americans. Signed this 12th day of November, 2019, by all members of the Board of Commission. Thank you. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Dave Raper. I'm a member of Chapter 576, and these are all members of Chapters 576. On behalf of our chapter, thank you very much for this particular honor. I'd like to introduce my compatriots. This is Walter Swenson. Just so you know, Walter, little background, Walter was what they call a Jolly Green Giant, green feet guy. This is the guy who flew in the big helicopters for the Air Force to go and rescue downed pilots. He's also a retired homicide detective, so we all mind our P's and Q's around him. This is Johnny Hawes. Johnny served in the United States Army, was combat wounded over there. And this is Dave Henry, who most of you know, who belongs to the special breed United States Marine Corps. Commissioner, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
We would like to make a presentation of points to
absolutely.
But I'm not giving this one away.
Yes, sir.
Amen to that. All right, you ready? Here we go. 3, 2, 1. One of those will work. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you. God bless you. Thank you.
Okay, Commissioner Gambrill.
Thank you. If I could ask the Still Family Farm and also Ann from Safe Path to join me. Great. On October 26th, we had our first Great Gambrel's Pumpkin Day at Still Family Farms, and it was to benefit Safe Path. I'd like to thank all of our public safety, Engine 23 and 13 that was there to do Touch a Truck. Officer Jeg was there with her car for Trunk or Treat. And then also we had our animal control brought out our adoption van where we adopted out 4 dogs and 1 cat that day. Unfortunately, it was a rainy day, kind of like today, but we had a great time. And don't let Ryan, my assistant, fool you. While he may be a city boy, he can do the cornhole. He is. He was like, I want to try this. He picked it up, tossed it, and made it a hole-in-one the first toss. So he's got a little country in him. We had over 200 attendees despite the rain, and also Sergeant Ablashi was there, who ended up winning our silent auction for our pumpkins that were here for the Board of Commissioners. So we thank him for his contribution as well. And our Commissioner pumpkins raised over $100 to benefit Safe Path as well. So today I'm going to hand the microphone off to Leslie.
Fantastic. We wanted to thank you so much, Commissioner Gambrill, for including us in your inaugural Great Pumpkin Day. We thank you for bringing Safe Path to us, for giving us the opportunity to put Safe Path in front of our people and our community, and we hope that it's the beginning of a long-lasting and great, strong partnership within Cobb County. And we thank ICWA and Ryan for their professionalism and attention to detail, and the firemen and the police officers and animal control that came to brighten up the farm on a dreary day and give me a new toggy. And also Safe Path. Thank you so much for the work that you do in our community. You serve and love on and support our most vulnerable in the community, our children, and we just thank you so much for that. And you also give a supportive environment to the adults who fight for those children every day, and we want to support you in that, so thank you so much. We invite you and we welcome you next year for the second annual Gambrill's Great Pumpkin Day. The way this worked this year was for the month of October, any person who came to the farm for a hayride or their fall festivities and brought a donated item received $2 off their ticket. And so each item that we were able to collect represents that. And then also, the customers that came that day, they gave cash donations. And then, of course, your $100 for your auctioned pumpkins. And then the day of the Gambrill's Great Pumpkin Day, we donated $2 per ticket. And then we just rounded that up. So the total cash that we've been able to raise as a partnership, all of us together, $642.50 plus 36 boxes of tissues, 19 canisters of disinfecting wipes, 5 fleece blankets, 14 packs of baby wipes, and a few other odds and ends. So thank you for including us in this partnership. We hope we can support you for a long time to come.
Thank you.
There you go. Boy, how about that? Boy, you're organized. Very impressive.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Wonderful check. Thank you.
And now, Commissioner Gambrill now has the next award presentation also.
Yes, and if I can ask the board to join me for this one, and our Parks Department, please. And it was my pleasure to ride up with a group of these Parks Department members to receive this award that we would like to give you this proclamation for. Whereas the Georgia Recreation and Parks Association was formed in 1945 as a private, nonprofit institution to support and promote the recreation and parks industries within the state of Georgia, and whereas the GRPA Agency of the Year Award recognizes excellence and leadership in providing quality recreation programs, parks, and facilities that enhance the quality of life in communities, and whereas nominees are judged on staff development, staff involvement in parks organizations, park facilities, new and outstanding programs, and major accomplishments over the past year, And whereas Cobb's Parks is responsible for 239 buildings and 6,045 acres of parkland. Parks has custodial duties over 95 properties, with 81 of them developed into either active or passive parks. Parks inventory includes 6 tennis centers and 13 other satellite locations with a total of 122 tennis courts, 4 indoor aquatic centers and 2 outdoor seasonal pools, 1 gymnastics center, 2 environmental education centers, 4 art centers, 1 606-seat indoor theater, 1 2,000-seat outdoor amphitheater, 2 golf courses, 5 recreation centers, 5 community centers, 85 miles of paved and natural trails, 2 BMX tracks, 44 playgrounds, 3 dog parks, 2 horse arenas, and 169 ball fields. And whereas Cobb Parks has a monumental year, including the opening of a new 44,000 square foot event center at Jim R. Miller Park, the opening of a 14,700 square foot administration office, the opening of Mayberry Park, and the addition of 406 acres to the Cobb Parks inventory. Cobb became the first Georgia county to establish an emergency locator marker, which is ELM program, and eventually will have markers placed on over 90 miles of trails throughout the county. To increase efficiency and responsiveness, Parks purchased and implemented the cartograph work order system, and whereas Cobb Parks offered a total of 108 new programs this fiscal year, Parks added a new Spring Arts Festival, Create with a Cop program, movies, bands, and brews shows, and our Block versus our Cops basketball games. 2019 also marked the debut of the first annual Cobb International Festival. The festival brought over 90 vendors and over 3,000 visitors. So, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, hereby congratulate and dedicate staff of Cobb County Parks for being named the 2019 Georgia Recreation and Parks Association Agency of the Year and recognize their diligent work to provide quality recreational programs and exceptional facilities on this 12th day of November 2019.
Thank you.
I will let you introduce staff.
Thank you, Commissioner. We had everybody come together. We had some cake together. We celebrated together. We went and received the award together. And now we drew straws, and these are the winners of the straw draw. So I'm going to do my best here. We've got Clinton Jones, who's the coordinator at the South Cobb Recreation Center, Mario Henson, who's our Services Division Manager, Mr. Bill Tanks, who's my supervisor, so we need to really give him a round of applause. Shannon Woody is our administrative supervisor and keeps me straight. Jimmy Barnett is our zone superintendent in the Mountain Zone. Tasha Smith is our specialist programmer at the West Cobb Aquatic Center. Ms. Roxanne Thompson is our specialist programmer at the Sewell Mill Cultural Center. Ms. Kay Wilson, the coordinator at the Civic Center. Are we using the married name yet? Yeah. Wendy Goss, who's our cultural affairs manager. On this side, Mr. Tom Bills, who's our senior contract manager and bus driver. And everything. Kevin Hall, who's our maintenance supervisor out in the Mountain Zone. Joe Hegg, who's our maintenance worker on the Silver Comet Trail. And just so happened last year to save a man's life who was having a heart attack. So Joe, thank you for doing that. Good job. Nancy Smith-Weston, who's a crew leader in the Bishop Zone. Ms. Caroline Johnston, who's our GIS analyst. Yes, Parks gets into GIS as well. Broderick Archie, better known as BA, is our coordinator over the Bishop Zone. He handles all of our volunteer associations. Mr. Darrell Walker, who's over all of our recreation centers, all of our community centers, and our therapeutic program. Does a great job for us. Mr. Jerry Pearlstein, he's a heavy equipment operator, but he also doubles as our certified playground safety inspector, which is a national certification where he goes out and inspects all of our playgrounds to make sure they're safe for our children. And last but not least, Mr. Christian Humphreys, who's our coordinator at the South Cobb Aquatic Center. This is a broad spectrum of the excellent employees that we have in Parks. However, we are not a silo. We depend heavily on other departments, whether it be fleet with our vehicles, IS with our computer support, the county management, the Board of Commissioners. There's no way we could do what we do without the support of other departments here in Cobb County. This staff, they're remarkable, whether it's from preparing and maintaining parks and fields, to offering the art classes, to offering the special events. They do a yeoman's job at creating a high quality of life for our residents and our program participants. So I want to say thank you to each one of you for what you do. It was a perfect storm in 2019. We had a lot of good things happen all in a row. We beat out some very excellent large parks departments from around the state. And it was just our time in the barrel. But thank you, Commissioner. And a community center. Thank you. I also have, they actually realized that all parks departments are not within the county office, so they gave us 2 awards. So we've got an extra one here that we would like to give to you to actually display down here at the county office. I'm sure it's Waterford Crystal, too. So thank you.
That'll be down in communications.
How'd you get it?
Commissioner Burrell, to recognize an American Legion Auxiliary Unit.
Good morning, everyone. If I could ask the Ladies Auxiliary and Post Commander for American Legion 296 to come up. We want to recognize these ladies for their 100th anniversary and all their hard work and commitment to our veterans. Good morning.
Morning.
Hey, okay, you all know the saying, behind every great man, there's a greater woman. Well, these are the Ladies Auxiliary of Post 296 on Atlanta Road in my district. And I first, before I read the proclamation, I just want to say thank you for all your hard work, all the celebrations and ceremonies that we've had here at the Civic Center. For last year, our Vietnam veterans, this year, our Korean War veterans. These ladies have dedicated their time and commitment to serve our veterans, and we can't thank you enough. Plus all the things you do in your community every day at Post 296. So congratulations on 100 years old, and our Commander Napoleon, right? No. Okay, sorry, Walter. So Walter's here representing the men. Whereas America's largest veteran service organization, the American Legion, is 100 years old. The American Legion was founded after the end of World War I. During March 15th through the 17th, 1919 in Paris, France, the first caucus under the name American Expeditionary Force was held. 2 months later, a caucus was held in St. Louis, Missouri, where the name the American Legion was officially adopted. And whereas after its formation, several existing women's organizations wanted to become the official affiliate of the Legion, a committee decided to create a new organization made up of women most closely associated with the men of the Legion. During the American Legion's first convention, November 10, 1919, members and officials birthed the American Legion Auxiliary. In less than 1 year, 1,342 local units in 45 states of the Women's Auxiliary to the American Legion had been organized. And whereas the American Legion Auxiliary Avery Cuthbert Unit 537 of Marietta was known as a widow unit, it was granted special permission to operate without an active Legion post if membership quotas and all obligations were met. Meetings were rotated at the homes of different members every fourth Sunday. And whereas a group of Marietta veterans started the meetings and decided to reapply for their charter in 1983. Several names of veterans that died on foreign soil were submitted as names for the post. The honor was given to Post 296 by the family of Paul E. Kelly, Jr. Shortly after American Legion, Paul Kelly, Jr., Post 296 gained its charter. The widow unit was asked to become a part of the Ladies Auxiliary, whose permanent charter was granted March 7, 1985. And whereas the start of the auxiliary unit brought new life in several programs, such as VA and local hospital visits to veterans, the Junior Auxiliary, the Poppy Program, free community appreciation cookouts, Easter egg hunts, youth Halloween programs, Thanksgiving basket giveaways, back-to-school drives, Toys for Tots, and sickle cell anemia health fair and walkathon. And whereas the mission of the American Legion Auxiliary is to support the American Legion and honor the sacrifice of those who serve by enhancing the lives of veterans, military, and their families, both at home and abroad. For God and country, they advocate for veterans, educate our citizens, mentor youth, and promote patriotism, good citizenship, peace, and security. Now, therefore, we, the Cobb County Board of Commissioners, do hereby recognize the 100th anniversary of the American Legion Auxiliary and commend our local Paul E. Kelly, Jr., Unit 296, for their dedicated service on behalf of our veterans. This is the 12th day of November, 2019. Ooh, that was a mouthful, wasn't it?
Oh, yes, I will. I'm Carla Thomas, the Auxiliary President for Paul E. Kelly Jr. Unit 296. And to my right is Wanda Scott. She's a longtime member. And this is Jennifer Walker. She's a current chaplain of our unit. Isla Lindley, she's also a longtime member, and her sister was a past president. And this is Diana Griffin. She's our current Sergeant at Arms. And this is our historian, Ollie Davis. And Leah, she's a past first vice, Leah Spate. And you guys met Walter Robinson already. He's a longtime member for the post. It's a privilege to be a part of an organization that has always stood up for veterans. 100 years. In 100 years, and we are the largest women's service patriotic organization in the world. That's a privilege. And it's an honor to be a part of our unit that's history in Marietta and been a part of Marietta for so long, from Avery Cuthbert, Post 537, to now Paul E. Kelly. So it's been a privilege to be here in the Marietta community, working for our veterans and the community. Thank you.
Thank you for all that you do for us, and I'll be calling on you again soon.
Thank you. And our last presentation is Chief Kreider. And I believe they'll be joined by members of, from Atkins, Core Engineering, and Glock Incorporated. Morning.
While everyone's coming up, I want to take the opportunity to thank the Cobb County Safety Village Board members for who are attending this morning. And every year we take an opportunity to recognize 3 of the folks who have supported the Safety Village from its start. And I'm going to hand the mic over to Al Martin, who is one of the chairs of the board.
Good morning, everybody, and again, I am Al Martin. I'm an External Affairs Manager for Georgia Power, but today I get the honor of representing the Cobb Safety Village Foundation Board. I am the current board chair this year, and I want to, before we go any further, I want to introduce my board members that are here today. Sam Heaton, David Hankerson, past chair of the board, and the vision and energy behind Safety Village. Thank you for being here this morning. Lynn Wigington, Jennifer Lynch, we have Devin Seabaugh, Wade Kelly, and then Mr. Jim Croy is here also. And then we have 2 representatives from Glock I'll talk about in a minute. Our outstanding executive director, Allison Carter, is going to help me with the awards. As Chief said, many years ago, we realized that the mission of the Safety Village Foundation is really to create partnerships and provide financial resources to help further the mission of Safety Village, which we know is to provide safety education and accident prevention to Cobb students and citizens in Cobb County. And so we know that saves lives, and so we're happy to be a part of supporting Cobb County Safety Village with financial resources through our partnerships. We realized a long time ago that we need to stop and thank those longtime partners who've been literally with us the whole 10 years that we've been in existence. And today we get to honor and thank 3 tremendous companies that have been big supporters of Safety Village. The first company is Atkins. Wade Kelly is here representing Atkins. They've been a 10-year partner with Safety Village, multi-year sponsor. They've purchased and sponsored a storefront in our interactive education village outside the Safety Village. Wade's been on the board, just completed his 6 years, I believe, of his board service, and has been a tremendous board member. So thank you, Wade, and thank you, Atkins, and Allison present the award. And we'll get a group photo at the end, perhaps. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Next up is a company that's a part of the fabric of business and supporting Cobb County, and that's Croy Engineering. Mr. Jim Croy is here today. Croy literally was a partner, I think, when we were constructing Safety Village, providing civil engineering in-kind services to that project. And once the Safety Village opened, they've continued to be a tremendous sponsor. They also have sponsored a storefront in our outside interactive village, and been a multi-year sponsor of our Truckapalooza, which is a big fundraiser that we do every year. And Lynn Wigington of Croy is a current board member as well, and Lynn does a terrific job on our board and is very active. And so, again, we want to thank Croy for everything that you do and present you with this award, and great thanks. Last but not least this morning is Glock. About 6 years ago, Corey Jones from Glock came out and did a tour, and Corey couldn't be with us this morning, but I think Allison says that that day, I think he caught the vision of what Safety Village is about. Of course, Glock has been a tremendous supporter of public safety in Cobb for many years, and we discover many shared values of safety education and accident prevention, and so Glock has become a wonderful partner for the last several years. In 2018, they became a major sponsor They're actually they're sponsoring an interactive education building in our village, and that's going to be completed next year. We're excited to see that being used for some of our training for students around gun safety, and so really excited about that. We thank you guys so much for all the sponsorships that you've done for us and being a partner with us. This morning from Glock is Donna McClure and Jiffy Blakely accepting the awards, so thank you guys. Thank you so much. But it's just a privilege to be a part of this great organization and to give back in Cobb. I know all of our board members feel the same way. Safety education and accident prevention is terrific, and we know that it saves those lives, and our kids that are coming through are impacted by the experiences there at Safety Village for a lifetime. So thank you very much this morning.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Good morning.
Hey, Wade.
Hey, Jen, good morning. How are you? Good to see you. Thank you. Hey, David, always a pleasure. Thank you, Allison. Okay. All right. Public comment?
Chairman, we have two this morning. The first one's Mr. Birkenbein.
Welcome back, David. We missed you.
Morning, Mr. Chairman, Board of Commissioners, County Manager. I got a letter from my garbage man that says they're trying to get a 10% increase, but it didn't worry me because I talked to Chairman Boyce this morning. But anyway, it's being pushed by Jonathan Jenkins in her meetings. But I'd like to say the 10% tax hike, I would want to call it, you can disagree with me or whatever, Cobb County from inside forces employed by Cobb County. Meet the enemy of the people and do not stay silent in his smooth, articulate, and he memorizes. Dr. Jenkins's elixir. This is what y'all are drinking. He reaches into the cloud, computer cloud, pull out all the data floating around, put it into a mixing bowl called a computer. Once all the ingredients are mixed, then he puts it in a predictive model and he bakes it, and just in a few minutes, he has a solution coming out. Now comes the selling part. Dr. Jenkins is a good salesman for an eager group that are looking for a quick fix for all their woes and their pains. Dr. Jenkins is well-educated, articulate in his presentations of how he is the chosen leader, and we should follow him at all costs. For he has a degree in hard knocks and advanced degree in humility. See, there's nothing Dr. Jenkins can't accomplish. Don't believe me? Just ask him. Read Dr. Jenkins' 2015 blog, Why Should Anyone Follow You? This explains a lot. If you're a robot, if you're a computer, if you're a piece of machinery, if you're an object that needs and wants to be controlled, heart and soul. But we are not. We are intelligent people, not followers of the Pied Piper. Also read, establish, and maintain my momentum towards success. You have to give credit where credit is due, and I do to a point. Number one, we are all humans. We're not machines or computers. We live in a democracy. He compares himself to the great people of history, and he's not. From his statements that actions he is flawed and has a lot of collateral damage in his past, but by his experience from the School of Hard Knocks and advanced degree in humility. I, for one, do not want to be the future collateral damage. I stand against you and the Board of Commissioners for this 10% gross receipt tax or fee to the county coming from the sanitation companies, which will be passed on to us, the citizens of Cobb County, at 10% hike. As I stated, stop picking my pockets. Just stop and think what 10% gross looks like, and it's a lot of money. With a population of 765,000 people, where does all this windfall go in the county? He explained some in his letter I've got from my garbage man. Do not bring Sandy Plains, which is where he lives, Fulton County government oppression on us in Cobb County, and the board should agree, hopefully. He's an opportunist. He's an opportunist and is not good for our county. I want to say welcome. You came here from there because you didn't like there, and now you want to change here to be like there. We're not racist, phobic, or anti-whatever you are. We just simply like here the way it is. Most of us actually came here because it's not like there, wherever there is. You are welcome here, but please stop trying to make here like there. If you want here to be like there, you should not have left there to come here. But last but not least, if you are the smartest person in the room, then you're in the wrong room. Thank you.
Ms. Burns?
Good morning. My name is Pat Burns. I live at 10 Concord Road, Smyrna, Georgia. My subject is Cobb County and ICE agreements. Last week, the president and CEO of the Georgia Chamber of Commerce, Chris Clark, hosted a diversity and inclusion summit titled Courageous Conversations. My jaw dropped when Mr. Clark stated, if you want to move your community forward, you have to become culturally fluent and intentionally inclusive. The ICE agreement ignores this, and it ignores the complexity of our community. It ignores Chamber President's call to become culturally fluent and intentionally inclusive. Instead, it throws under the bus the many men and women who have toiled to make modern Cobb County and who've tried to make Cobb County the best. They've toiled to make Cobb County their home, a home for their families, children, and grandchildren, a home where they can live without fear, a home to worship freely and to work hard. Some of you are churchgoers, but pick and choose what your church says about immigration, be it the Catholic Church, the Presbyterian Church, or the Methodist Church. Some of us have associates and friends who speak against undocumented populations, or who may even be involved in nativist organizations. Those are not people with whom I want to share a foxhole. We are sons and daughters of immigrants who may or may not have waited in line or walked across a more fluid border. I have lived here long enough to remember the dark days when a vote by the Board of Commissioners stripped our county from participation in the Olympics. Don't support this dark ICE agreement. Instead, move toward the points of light. Move towards an intentionally inclusive and culturally fluent community that's intentionally inclusive and culturally fluent.
Thank you, Ms. Burns.
That concludes the speakers this morning, Chair.
Okay. Now we have consent. So I'm going to move to approve the consent agenda as revised and to authorize the execution of the necessary documents by the appropriate county personnel.
Second.
Discussion. Sorry. Sure.
What changes were made to the agenda?
Not number 33, I'm sorry, go ahead. Number 33, there was more detail in the listing of the various appropriations and collections for standard reserves. There was a a question had driven up during the agenda prep and by I think one of the other commissioners, that we need to have more detail on that, and that's what this revision does.
Is that what's highlighted in yellow?
Yes,
Okay.
correct, right. And then number 16. Yeah, it was a correction made in the minutes that the item on the previous board, the item was heard as a regular agenda. That was number 41 in the minutes. That was a regular item, not a consent item.
Okay, thank you.
Right. Right. And we're scrolling, so. Okay, I'll call a question.
Just a comment made,
Sure,
just a comment to make.
sure.
I do want to address some comments made during public comment with respect to agenda item number 6, which is the county's participation in the image program. To the speaker, I'm not sure if you received my correspondence, but the county's participation in this program impacts our employees internally. I know there have been a lot of concerns addressed about our participation in other ICE programs, which can have an impact on the environment of having a culturally forward and intentionally inclusive environment. It's been my perspective that the county's participation in this program has been internal and helps us to verify that our employees who are working here at the county have documents that verify they're lawfully able to do so. And I cannot perceive how this impacts the county's obligation and commitment to move forward and to be an inclusive space. So I just want to provide those clarifying comments
Sure.
to my vote.
Appreciate that. Sure, go ahead, Commissioner Burrow.
Yeah, and we have been, as a county, have been image certified with our employees since 2013. This is a renewal of that process.
Yeah, I think the important is that, like you said, Commissioner, it's internally. This is what this agenda item does. No more than that. Okay, with that, you be the last one to vote, Commissioner Cupid?
Oh, yes, sir. Thank you.
And it passes 4-0 with Commissioner Rod in absence. All right, now on to regular. Aren't we anxious this morning?
We are.
All right, I believe you have a number of items there for us, Ms. Parrish?
Yes, sir, we do have a handful for consideration this morning. And the first item is requesting that the Board of Commissioners approve a Public Street Acknowledgement Form, a standard wire license agreement with Norfolk Southern Railway Company for Advanced Transportation Management Systems, Intelligent Transportation Systems Communications, and authorize payment of associated fees in the amount of $14,500 to Norfolk Southern Railway Company.
Commissioner Cupid?
Yes, glad to see this moving along.
Yes, ma'am.
With that, I move that we approve agenda item number 37.
Second.
A second, any discussion? I'll call the question. Passes 4-0 with Commissioner Rod in absence.
Thank you, sir. The second item is to request the Board of Commissioners approve change order number 1 final to the contract with Accelera Construction LLC, a savings to the project in the amount of $9,177.18 for bridge rehabilitation on Piedmont over Little Noonday Creek.
Commissioner Burrow?
Motion to approve.
I'll second it. Discussion? Call the question. Passes 4-0 with Commissioner Rod in absence.
Okay, thank you, sir. Our next item is requesting the Board of Commissioner authorize procurement of stream buffer mitigation credits for Whooping Creek Meadows LLC in an amount not to exceed $14,445 for stream buffer impacts associated with Mableton Parkway pedestrian improvements.
Commissioner Cupid?
So moved.
Discussion? Call the question. Passes 4-0 with Commissioner Rod in absence.
Thank you. The next item is requesting the Board of Commissioners approve change order number 2 final to the contract with Paulette Tucker Enterprises, Inc., DBA Tucker Grading and Hauling, a savings to the project in the amount of $25,643.50 for Bells Ferry Road Sidewalks.
Commissioner Burrow.
Motion to approve.
I'll second it. Discussion? Call the question. Passes 4-0. Commissioner Ott in absence.
Okay, thank you. The next item is requesting the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution. Nope. Sorry. The next item is the Board of Commissioners. I'm requesting the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with CMES, Inc. in the amount of not to exceed $3,277,655.60 for improvements on New Macklin Road.
Commissioner Cupid.
So moved.
Discussion? Call the question. Passes 4-0. Commissioner Ott in absence.
Thank you, sir. The next item is requesting the Board of Commissioners adopt a resolution authorizing the submission of a local maintenance and improvement grant, or LMIG program application for FY20 to the Georgia Department of Transportation, Georgia DOT, for the resurfacing of county-maintained roads.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Discussion? Call the question. Passes 4-0. Commissioner Ott in absence.
Thank you. The next item is requesting the Board of Commissioners approve change order number 1 to the contract with R.J. Haney and Associates, Inc., a savings to the project in the amount of $296,000 for traffic signal timing, SCATS expansion, approve supplemental agreement number 1, an increase in the amount of $240,900, reflecting the revised unit cost, resulting in a net savings to the project in the amount of $55,110.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Discussion? Call the question. Passes 4-0 with Commissioner Ott in absence.
Thank you, sir. The next item is requesting that the Board of Commissioners approve change order number 2 final to the resurfacing contract 2018-3 Local Roads North with Bartow Paving Company, Inc., a savings to the project in the amount of $125,763.48 for resurfacing of county-maintained streets.
Commissioner Gamble.
So moved.
Discussion? Call the question. Passes 4-0. Commissioner Ott in absence.
Okay, thank you, sir. The next item is requesting the Board of Commissioners approve the revised budget and current schedule for the 2011 Transportation Improvement Program, funded primarily by the 2011 SPLOST Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax, or SPLOST. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions per the 2011 SPLOST Transportation Improvement Program budget and schedule provided under separate cover.
So moved as presented.
Second.
Discussion? Call the question. Passes 4-0 with Commissioner Ott in absence.
Thank you, sir. Next item is requesting the Board of Commissioners approve change order number 1 final to the contract with Accelera Construction LLC, the savings to the project in the amount of $18,070 for drainage system repairs on Page Road Drive.
Commissioner Cupid.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Call the question. Passes 4-0. Commissioner Ott in absence.
Okay, thank you, sir. The last item is requesting the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Glosson Enterprises LLC in an amount not to exceed $1,509,044.45 for Ebenezer Road sidewalks.
Commissioner Burrow.
Motion to approve with pleasure.
I'll second it. Discussion? Call the question. Passes 4-0. Commissioner Ott in absence.
Thank you.
Thank you, Erica. Scott, good morning.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, County Manager. Property Management's got 4 items. Our first is the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Carithers-Wallace-Courtenay Incorporated in the amount not to exceed $654,751 for furniture for the Switzer Library located at 266 Roswell Street, Marietta, the 2016 SPLOST Project X0510, and authorize the corresponding budget transactions.
Commissioner Burrow.
Motion to approve.
So unless we have a second, any discussion? Call the question. Passes 4-0. Commissioner Ott in absence.
All right, thank you. Our second item is the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with WE Contracting Company Incorporated in the amount of $751,030.30 for drywall work at the Public Safety Training Center located at 2435 East-West Connector, Austell, 2016 SPLOST Project X1050. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions. Further authorize the chairman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Cupid.
So moved. Second.
Discussion? Call the question. Passes 4-0. And Commissioner Ott in absence.
Thank you. Our third item is the Board of Commissioners approve a contract with Unified Technology Systems in the amount of $597,657.53 NKM Davis Contracting Company in the amount of $74,734 for the construction-related activities at the Public Safety Training Center located at 2435 East-West Connector, Austell, 2016 SPLOST Project 1050. Authorize the corresponding budget transactions and further authorize the chairman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Cupid,
So moved. Second.
discussion? Call the question. Passes 4-0, Commissioner Ott in absence.
All right, our last item is the Board of Commissioners approved supplemental agreement number 1 to the contract with K-Team Engineering Construction in the amount of $8,450 for the renovation of existing restrooms at the Police Precinct 1, Fire Station 8, located at 2380 Cobb Parkway, Kennesaw. Further authorize the chairman to execute the necessary documents.
Commissioner Gamble,
So moved. Second.
discussion? Call the question. Passes 4-0, Commissioner Ott in absence.
All right.
Okay,
Thanks,
thanks,
sir.
Scott. I believe we've had all the speakers. Okay, it's my pleasure to announce the appointment of Juan Violantes to the Neighborhood Safety Commission for a 3-year term to expire on September 30th, 2022. I'll be replacing Ms. Karen Hallisey, who served with extreme competence, professionalism, and just really did a great job, and we're going to miss her. And we thank her for her volunteer spirit and what she did for the county. So with that, I believe we have Commissioner's comments. Commissioner Burrow. Start with you, yes.
Thank you, sir. Okay, as of last week, we have 119 veteran adoptions from the Cobb County Animal Shelter through our Superior Pets for Patriotic Vets program. This is Mr. Hoffman, a 20-year veteran of the Army, adopted this handsome German Shepherd just in time for Veterans Day. Thank you to Superior Plumbing and Cobb County Animal Services for your generosity and all that you do for this program. Beginning tomorrow, November 13th, a new vehicle entrance fee will be implemented at Kennesaw Mountain National Battlefield Park. There will be a $5 daily fee and a $40 annual pass fee and other price structures for seniors and active duty military. For more information, you can visit www.recreation.gov. On November 15th, Cobb GIS is celebrating its 20th anniversary with a special GIS day from 11 to 4, Friday, November 15th at Sewell Mill Library and Cultural Arts Center. This fun and informative event is free and open to the public. It will include drone demonstrations, games, refreshments, and more. Sewell Mill Library and Cultural Center is located at 2051 Lower Roswell Road in Marietta. On November 16th, this Saturday, First Lady of Georgia, Marty Kemp, is hosting another pet adoption and Georgia Grown Day at the Governor's Mansion. For more information and to register, visit facebook.com/MartyKempGA. We will have our pet adoption trailer there for adoptions. This is the third pet adoption our First Lady has done this year at the Governor's Mansion. November 16th, join the fight against breast cancer. Elon Salon will host a casino night at the Brickyard in Marietta. Admission is $75 a person, and all proceeds go to Atlanta-based It's the Journey, Inc. Casino night happens Saturday, November 16th from 7 to 10 p.m., and the Brickyard is at 129 Church Street. And you can email elonsalon1@gmail.com for more information. The American Legion Post 29 will host an oratorical scholarship contest for high school and homeschooled students in Marietta, Kennesaw, and Ackworth areas. The entry deadline is November 22nd. For more information, you can email Roy Lance at roy@roylance.com or visit legion.org/oratorical. And Also, this Thursday, November 14th, is Bring the Heat Cook-Off, Red, White, and Boots at Jim Miller Park Pavilion. We'll have a variety of cook-off teams that will, you don't have this, Brad, so just go blank. There'll be several, including our own Cobb 911, Sheriff's Office, Fire, Solicitor's Office, Marietta Police, Marietta Fire, Kennesaw Police, Metro Atlanta Ambulance, State Defense Force, Army, and lots of good meals. So the National Guard will be there as well. The proceeds will go to the Georgia National Guard Family Support Foundation, the Cobb County Public Safety Foundation, the Veterans Court of Cobb County Bravo Victor Fund. So mark your calendars this Thursday, Jim Miller Park. Tickets are $50, and I'm looking for the website of where you can go. BringTheHeatCharityCookoff.org. And last but not least, from now until November 30th, you can take home your forever best friend from the Cobb County Animal Shelter, dogs and cats, $20. They come fully vetted, all their shots, microchipped, and spayed or neutered. So it's a deal, folks. $20 for your new best friend. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Gamble.
Thank you. I wasn't prepared to speak on this, but I'm going to try to address the comments that were made earlier in public comment. Many of you were impacted this past April and May when trash service was not being delivered. This caused our solid waste to start discussions with our trash haulers because the increased demand on waste in Cobb County is going up, including that with recycling. Our solid waste team has started researching the issue and soliciting information from the waste haulers and also from the affected, us, the taxpayers, from their service. Our solid waste has started meeting with the waste haulers that could be affected by the results of the process that has yet to be determined. Again, this is a process that we're starting to talk about. Nothing has been decided. The purpose of these meetings was to listen to their concerns and hear their input as they start to draft documents that would be the basis for improving waste management in Cobb County. Unfortunately, some of these haulers have begun to paint this process as a tax trash on the citizens. Such language is not accurate and may be a result of some haulers giving their customers selective information perceived from our meetings with these haulers. The meeting was more about their concerns and our interests than it was about the fee, not a tax that would be discussed in an ongoing process. We do have notes from these meetings. If anyone would like those, we can share them with them. So pretty much right now, yes, the Office of Public Services, Division of Solid Waste, and Keep Cobb Beautiful affiliate have begun the process of organizing information and input from stakeholders to address the comprehensive waste management needs of our citizens, businesses, and other entities affected by challenges of a growing county and a proportionately growing waste profile. No tax or fee will be put forth until it's discussed by the board, which of course will go through a public hearing process for the general. And on a lighter note, go football.
Okay.
Go Navy.
Beat Army.
No, it's actually it's Notre Dame this week, but
Warm up.
but
Go
we
Irish.
do have several high schools in the football playoffs this year. Some of the football teams are Kell, Alatoona, Sprayberry, Harrison, Wheeler, North Cobb, Hillgrove, Walton, and McEachern High Schools. So good luck to all of those teams.
Great. Yeah, that's amazing. Commissioner Cupid.
Yes, thank you, Chairman. Just want to thank everyone who came out to the annual HOA Boot Camp Workshop at the Georgia International Convention Center. Used to head a HOA several years ago, and I'm amazed every time I attend that event how much I learn, and that comment was shared by others in attendance. I just want to give a heads up that this upcoming Saturday, November 16th, we will have a grand opening of an all-inclusive playground at the Windy Hill Community Center. It's beautiful, and it's there for everyone to enjoy. So encourage people to come out, and that will be held at 1 p.m. Those are all my comments, Chairman. Thank you.
Thank you. I just have a couple, the Archbridge Foundation, as you know, we have a incredible program run by the Archbridge group over at the Cobb Energy Center. And they bring these high schools and middle schools, and all kinds of schools here to do programs. And I was very privileged to be at the last one. It's astounding to sit in a room with over 2,000 kids cheering over some magician doing magical stuff, including making a teacher disappear. That got the loudest applause. But again, my hat's off to all they're doing over at the Archbridge Foundation. The Galleria, the Cobb Galleria, was recently named as one of the best North American convention centers, so very proud to have that crown jewel in our county. And finally, I want to thank the board for making this past yesterday a county holiday. The county certainly brought all its love and support out for the veterans this weekend. There were so many programs that went out. It started, of course, last week, where all the commissioners were there for the Korean War Veterans Memorial ceremony. Through the Marietta Parade yesterday, churches were honoring the veterans. I think it's just a reflection, both on this board, of how much we appreciate our veterans and support them, but also in this county that we all got together this weekend to show them that there might have been some days they might have been forgotten, but not anymore. They're truly remembered, appreciated, and we want to thank everybody for coming out this weekend and supporting the support for our veterans. So with that, we're adjourned.